What's up, everybody? Got a great episode for you today. We're going to talk some NFL, some NBA, some Zach Wilson. Be careful if your mom's in the New Jersey state area. You might bag her. And then we're going to talk some NBA. Will the KD even get traded? It's not looking like it with the Nets asking price, but how we feeling today, JL?
Feeling good. A lot to talk about, A
Even
lot
in
of
this
people.
dry period, got a lot
It's
to talk
very
about.
dry. I mean, damn, ESPN, all you see is 5 to 10 clips about KD, and they all titled "Update on KD," but it's the same shit. They just kicking the can at this point.
And
I'm
they include
convinced
the
he's not
Lakers,
going
too.
nowhere.
Me too. Looking at how their asking prices, the Nets wanted the Timberwolves to get KD, right? But they wanted Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards in return. Like,
And
what's left? Yeah, what's left?
So that I think that was them in terms of their negotiation play. They're like, KD wants to do the extreme and say, okay, I have 4 years left on my deal, but I want to be traded in my prime. The Nets would be idiots to move him. You're never going to get the right. There's no equation that equals an even split when you got the best player in the league. So they're like, okay, we're going to have a ridiculous asking price, and we're not going to accept any trades below what we asked for. And let's see. Now it's your turn, KD. When camp comes around, are you going to show up?
Shit, he gonna get fined like Ben Simmons did in Philly for 4 years because he's still in contract for the next 3 years.
Right. So, and I don't think KD's that type of guy. I think he's just trying to negotiate and be that businessman that he want to be. But to be honest, he don't have a good business track record. Is not that good, at least recently in his career. So, I mean, we'll see. I think he stays, though. I think all of this is just for the media to play with, and it's getting tired. I don't give a damn at this point.
But if you look at it, though, if KD just stays in Brooklyn, he's got a better chance to win in Brooklyn than anywhere else he goes. Right. If he gets traded away. TJ Warren just came to Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Ben Simmons will come back. Hopefully he's in a better mental space. But It looks like he's happy at the Summer League games.
Right. Got a little situation on his arm. He good. He's vibing. He was trying to take Michael Blackson, girl. He was DMing her like, I know you want me. Like, come on, bro. You out here capping with another man's woman. You just go, you that bold? You that?
And they were good friends, too.
You think you got that in you. Right. That's some Zach Wilson shit, to be honest. So,
Perfect
that's
segue.
Perfect segue. Shit. That's
Zach Wilson. They were best friends at BYU. Now people are calling
roommates, bro. Them the people
that
were
calling his girl a homie hopper too. And she's like, he's the real homie hopper, dating his mom's best friend. Like what? No, banging his mom's best friend, not dating.
I know, right? I mean, talk about how the decisions in your personal life, something as simple as who you smashing, could have a ripple effect of your perception and ultimately might impact your performance. Now, there's two ways to look at it. Are you going to be a dog and be, fight, or are you going to run based off the adversity? Because he could not be in a bigger market and do this type of thing. Like, this is absurd. You know what I'm saying? This falls in line with all those small white quarterbacks that we've seen who are amazing talents in college and just shit the bed, and their true colors come out, in the pros, like the Bakers, shit, like the Johnny Manziels of the world. So I hope he don't fall in line in that tier. But I mean, that situation he put himself in is definitely in line with what they would do.
Some reactions are like, people are like, yeah, that's my teammate. He's the cool guy now. Everybody wants Zach Wilson jerseys now. So basically, it was probably a win for him. It could have been so
Yeah,
much worse.
I don't think it was as bad on him as it was his friend. Like, first of
Yeah.
all, how you get with her? We was roommates, bro. What the
Yeah,
hell? Like, that's my
it's fucked
homie.
up.
And the thing is, the quarterback receiver relationship, those are the people you put the most time in with on the football field. So the fact that most of them are roommates for that very same reason. So uh, there's not. I'm trying to paint a picture where that bond is very, very tight when you're best friends and you're both dependent on
Quarterback
each other's
receivers too.
success. That's what I'm saying.
That
Like
connection.
this is a different level of friendship, is what I'm trying to say. So that's we'll it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. I mean, I hope he proves all the haters wrong. They say the Jets had a phenomenal draft. I mean, of
Won
course
the
they
draft.
always do.
They
They
got all the
always do.
resources. They always got the good
That's a
picks.
bad thing. That's a bad thing.
But now we talked a little bit about Baker and the short quarterbacks. Baker got traded to the Panthers. We didn't talk about it last week. You know, we're busy with the big time interview with Mike Adu. But Baker goes to Carolina. Now, they play Cleveland week 1. What are your thoughts on this trade?
I don't give a damn about this trade. They said Baker ain't even a bona fide starter. He gotta go into competition.
It's gonna be a competition with Darnold too.
Right. So what are we talking about here? I don't give a shit if he's not the starter. I mean, you could argue Sam Darnold's the more talented quarterback in terms of just potential, ceiling in my opinion. So
yeah, we saw Robbie Anderson in the interview had said Darnold was failed in New York with the Jets. Like their development was failed. And we saw him Instagram when they were like, "Oh, should Baker go to Carolina?" He was like, "No," in the comments.
Because he thought they was in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, and it turns out they wasn't. They thought they was in there. They thought that was like a top spot, right?
Yeah. Carolina was one of the places, one of the top ones. They could have gave him everything, the bag like Cleveland did, but
no
they
question.
had more morals.
No, they didn't. They just want to get $250 million guaranteed, like his name Bradley Beal or something. Like he hooped.
But the thing is, like with this Baker trade, it makes you think. Trading away Baker like that, not trying to fight it so hard to keep him like they were, because they didn't know Deshaun Watson was going to be suspended a year. Does that
and they traded him for the copier machine. They traded him for the Xerox.
Right. Does that make you think that this Deshaun Watson case is he's not gonna get suspended for a whole year anymore? Because it's looking better for him now.
I don't know. It depends what sports sports outlets you follow on social media, because they'll have your ass on a mission that is incomplete at the end of the day, because they'll be sending you off with their the black Skip Bayless and shit. They'll be sending you off with the information they put on their page.
And the thing is, Ballsack Sports, we mentioned this on this podcast before, they have been getting everybody. They have said John Morant said he would lock up Michael Jordan, or say like Michael Jordan would just be a regular superstar in this league. And every ESPN outlet has been using that on their show.
It's a dry season. It's a dry season.
Fake account. They're trolling.
Right.
But
I mean,
you see what Skip Bayless said though? You see what he said? He was like, yeah, John Morant could probably cook a meal for Michael Jordan. He can't cook him.
Hey, who watches Undisputed?
I actually like Undisputed. I think Shannon Sharp's very funny. Skip Bayless.
I like Shannon, but Skip is a goofball. He just be on there talking.
But now let's go back to another topic. We talked about quarterbacks. So Colin Cowherd brought out his top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So we're going to go through our list. Who you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first because I haven't looked at no list. My ESPN Plus membership just expired and I'm not renewing it.
Damn.
So
I
missed out on the list.
If you got the Plus, you can't see shit. You'll see like the first paragraph of an article.
Right.
You can't see nothing else after that.
You can't see nothing. I didn't realize how much I'm missing out. So You know, if ESPN wanna sponsor the pod, get us a discount on that Plus membership.
Please, we just want to see the articles.
Just on the membership, but you know. So my top 10 is number 1, Aaron Rodgers. You gotta go with him number 1. I mean, I think Pat is number 1 overall. But after that last performance Mahomes had where he lit up the scoreboard in the first half against the Bengals and then shit the bed when they adjusted, they went, you know, they dropped 8 and just rushed 3. And he couldn't beat that. He couldn't beat that. I think Aaron destroys. Aaron might blow them out if you put Aaron on that team. So. And that's not just Mahomes' fault either, but we're going down a rabbit hole. So number 2, of course, Patrick Mahomes. Okay. This guy is, you know, I think the best talent in the game of football at this point. And you can argue with number 3 in that same category with Josh Allen. I mean, the guy is a monster.
And it's crazy how much growth he had because last year or the year before, he wouldn't be number 3. He would be in that list, but not number 3.
The showcase of talent he put on against the Patriots in the first round, bro, that shit was crazy. He blew their ass out. I mean, damn. And then to go into Kansas City and play like they did, him and Mahomes, that was fantastic football. I mean, that's my AFC championship if you ask me. But I'm still pissed Mahomes did that in the second half. But that's number 2. So number 4, I mean,
it's a close one.
It's a close one. It is. I'm going to have to go Lamar Jackson.
Finally, somebody puts Lamar. Dude, he wasn't in Colin Cowherd's top 10.
Are you insane?
Racially
do you
motivated.
Do you understand the gravity he has? Look at his winning percentage. When the Ravens are the best team in the AFC when he was healthy last year.
No real clear number 1 receiver either.
Yes, I mean this man is the heartbeat of their entire team. He is the entire face of their culture, and he wins. And every year he's won more, a little bit more. And yet last year he was on that path to do so, and he got hurt. So that is blasphemy, absolutely blasphemy. The MVP.
Not even 10.
Come on now.
Dakota Prescott was on that list.
Back to back.
Yes, he could have.
Oh, hell no. Dak ain't even won a playoff game, has he? What are we talking about here?
I think he might have.
He might have won one when they played Green Bay in the NFC Championship, right?
It was game before the NFC Championship.
Okay, he won one. Him and Lamar got one, but I mean, Dak, come on now. So then I think Russell Wilson, when healthy, is next on my list. I mean, the guy literally put the Seattle Seahawks on his back year after year after year, and 10-plus win seasons, deep playoff runs.
Great defense, but the receivers weren't it. Tight end either.
Right. And they tried to get him to pieces, but it was too late. And the rest, they couldn't put it all together at once. So the fact that he's in a system where they're going to do that, and they already have, and he's just inserted in with that, the amount of depth they have at every position offensively, I mean, it's going to be they're going to have a whip for sure. So I think he's going to light it up. It's going to be a wrap. So that is number 5 for me. Number 6, Super Bowl winning champion, MVP. I'm going to have to go with Matthew Stafford. The way he's slaying the rock, and don't get me wrong, them older quarterbacks, you notice you get some pressure on them, they just fall the fuck apart. Him and Tom Brady specifically, and even Aaron Rodgers when they played the Niners. So, I mean, damn, them old quarterbacks, man, when they get a hit, they're not the same. understandably so. But him, the fact that he was able to will his team in some defensive stalemates like them against the Niners, where he just found Cooper Kupp time after time after time. You got to be a great quarterback to be able to – everybody in the building
Some
know
of
where
those
you're going with
throws,
the ball, including the defense, and you still find a place to put it, and you know he's going to catch it. So that's impeccable.
Him going to the Rams was a big move for his career.
Those last-minute drives against the Niners as well as the Bengals, where he willed a drive out of them to win it all. I mean, you can't not have him in your top six. So, and then, of course, shortly after him, Joe Burrow, which I do feel like you could switch those two if you really want to. But, I mean, Joe Burrow, he absolutely dominated last year, and he blew out some really good teams, specifically Kansas City. And to bring your team to the Super Bowl and have an opportunity to win it all at such in year two.
Everybody young around him too.
You could put him easily in the top five or even top three based on his performance last year alone. But we haven't seen enough. You know, I don't want to get too high and then he has a slump after that, or it's just a miracle run.
That's why I like you don't have Herbert so high either. People have Justin Herbert top five already. And what has he done?
He ain't even got to the playoffs.
Didn't even get to the playoffs. Derek Carr got to the playoffs before him.
Right. Exactly. And shoot, that's a hell of a division there. And so definitely, I mean, shoot. No, Justin Herbert is the following after Joe Burrow. I mean, talent-wise, Justin Herbert might be the best quarterback in the league. But like you said, and he willed his team, I mean, back against the Raiders in that last game of the season, that was phenomenal. The way he was able to pick his team up down double digits and get in the OT, and he just couldn't finish it. You know, he was exhausted. So, but he's next for sure. I mean, damn. And then who do I have next? Okay, old Tom coming out of retirement.
Tom Brady? So, hey, Colin Coward had him in his top five.
Oh, come on, man. Let's not do that.
He put up numbers last year, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, of course. But look what happens, you know, when they play. They were not the best team last year, and it wasn't even close. So, I think if you couple in that with him retiring and then unretiring, I mean, I don't know how many people we've seen dominate this late in their career after changing their mind like that.
Career. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, based on past, I think Tom is probably, you know, he might light it the fuck up. He might win it again. But I honestly think it's him coming back. He's going to drop to 8 on my list, and then 9 on my list, and then 10, shoot. Got to go with Derek Carr. I mean, I'm taking him over Dak. I'm taking him over Kyler.
But
I'm taking him over Kirk.
What changes this list? How do you change this list if Deshaun Watson plays this year and he's healthy?
And of course, I have to preface this by saying, all depending on where Deshaun Watson is, he could be arguably the number one on that list.
I mean, top 3.
Guaranteed. Yeah. Right, guaranteed top 5. I mean, you talk about a guy that's literally they compared him to Jordan on how his impact. He had one of the greatest statistical seasons of all time on the worst team in the NFL.
Brandon Cooks
worst management. So, I mean, come on now. Like, this guy is a beast. And he beat Josh Allen in the playoffs the year before that. So, this guy was on a trajectory compared to no one. So, hopefully he can get his off the field issues figured out. But that's ain't got nothing to do with this list. So we'll see you when you see him, pal. Hopefully you figure it out.
I like your list. I think we have a lot of similarities, especially top 3. I think top 3 obviously is Josh Allen, Rodgers, and Mahomes. But number one for me, got Patrick Mahomes. I think I've seen enough for as soon as his first series started, his best quarterback in the NFL, that putting up those kind of numbers, 50 touchdowns. He was doing it, and I think he's a little more consistent in the playoffs than Aaron Rodgers already. I think I give him
That's
that
true.
now. He definitely performs well in the playoffs. This year is going to show some things, though, definitely with Tyreek Hill being gone. So maybe my list will change next year, maybe. But number two, I got Aaron Rodgers. I think year in, year out, consistent, regular season best quarterback in the NFL. Puts up the numbers, model of consistency, and touchdown to interception ratio is crazy. It's like a stat every year. It's like 16
and he'll
games.
have one game where he'll have 3, and then the rest of the year he'll have 3, and then
it's
dominate.
But then number 3,
consistency.
Number 3's got to be Josh Allen. I think just like what I mentioned when you were talking about him, like just that growth he had. And I like what you saw it in the playoffs against the Chiefs. Everybody was saying he's the best quarterback now. He made that jump in the playoffs. Definitely has performed well in the playoffs too. You can't really knock him down for that. And then number 4, Lamar Jackson. Action Jackson, big trust. I think he could win MVP this year.
No question. I mean, look at the muscle he added. I mean, good God. That
He's 220 now. He's 220 now.
It's all right. It's a game changer now. He got to learn how to protect himself regardless of how much weight he puts on. But continue. So far, so good.
Number 5, I think Joe Burrow. I think he's in my top 5. After last year, what he looked, he's been looking like a lot of people compare him, that underdog kind of guy. You just can't root against him.
He plays into that, so give me a break.
That playoff run he went was spectacular, and that's 100%. The time where you got to be on this list. You got to be that good in the playoffs. So I think I give him the nod, give him top 5. And number 6, Tom Brady, still doing his thing. I think he's got to be at least 6. You got to give him the respect, the GOAT nod.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Number 7, Deshaun Watson. Now, I was thinking about it. If he's healthy and
he's about to get canceled.
If he can play a couple games, he's been practicing.
Not playing no games next year. I'm calling it right now. Deshaun Watson will be suspended the rest of the year.
He might not get the rest. I'm thinking 8 games at lowest. At lowest, he gets at least 8 games. That's the lowest we're talking. But if he steps on that field next season, he's going to be on this goddamn list. I'm letting you know that. He's going to be on this list.
No question.
You look at Amari Cooper, number 1 receiver he got. You got Njoku or whatever how you say his name. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt out the backfield. Peoples-Jones. They got a lot of weapons. He could put up 50 touchdowns in just a little game he played.
Great O-line, too. Great run game. It'll be a game.
Great defense, too. Jacoby Brissett can give them 5 wins with this team that they got. And he just step in, make the playoffs. But we'll talk about that later, who's going to make the playoffs. But I think Russell Wilson steps in next. I think he's definitely had a little bit of a drop-off, but you can blame Seattle for that in the system. Pete Carroll.
Because of what? He got hurt last year.
Yeah, but looking at that Seattle team, Russell Wilson didn't hit the same as he used to. But I think he's going to have a great year this year.
Blasphemy.
I think he'll have a great year this year. I love Russell Wilson. He's my role model, Us Sims, you got to look up to Russell Wilson.
The man was hurt and was conducting a 2-minute drill by himself. In the pregame warm-up. He was doing fake huddles. This man is committed to anything it takes to get on that field. And I'll tell you what, he's gonna raise hell in that division.
Definitely. I got them making the playoffs. So I think
last time you seen him with a complete team, they won the Super Bowl and they were a play away from winning another one. So we haven't seen him since he got that bag. They haven't been able to put all the pieces together. Denver is a place where dropping all pieces are there. They're locked and loaded. They just needed a quarterback. I mean, Two Glove Teddy was out there winning them games. They was undefeated
Slinging them games. So
point.
he was winning some games.
So
Yeah.
Russ gonna turn up a whole nother level.
I know, and now the last couple lists, it's hard, but Matthew Stafford kind of fell. And I know he's a Super Bowl champ.
Super Bowl champ.
But shit, you gotta look at all the pieces surrounding him. You saw what Jared Goff looked like in McVay's system. We saw how good he looked earlier. They went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Imagine you implement a really good quarterback into that Rams team. Got Cooper Kupp. He had Odell Beckham. He had a lot of weapons in that team. And next year he's gonna have an even better year because he's got Allen Robinson as his second best receiver. So I think just the pieces he has around him, I like other quarterbacks better than him with less.
I disagree because, you look at Jared Goff, he had the MVP, which was Todd Gurley. And before his knee blew out on his ass,
Todd Gurley was cold in Rams.
He was the best running back in the league. So, I mean, damn, that's really all it took. So, and you couple that with the dominant defense that they've been able to play over the years. But I will say his receiving core was down the stretch. They fell apart. Yeah. Robert Woods rested the season. Odell was catching. It felt like he had 10 reception games every game he played for the Rams, and then he tore his ACL in the championship game, and he was able to overcome that and win it all. You gotta get him more than that. Come on,
he's on the list.
There's 32 teams. It's the top 10. It's only a third of that the league. That's a big
change. He's just 7, which is, it's still a good achievement. But
he's 6 on my list, so I'll give you that.
And then the next guy, Justin Herbert, I think what he's been able to do, he had one of the best rookie seasons in NFL history. What he's been able to do, he's got a lot of weapons too. He's got a lot of great talent surrounding him. Defensive-minded coach though last year, and he still produced very well offensively. Austin Eckler, very underrated guy. Yes. Keenan Allen, he's got a lot of weapons, but Justin Herbert, man, talent, potential. Look at all the mechanics, all the attributes. He's got it all. So I think definitely looking at next season or the year after that, he can definitely be in top 5, top 3.
Do you feel like the media he's like the media darling? Do you feel like they overhype him?
Everybody thinks he's the greatest quarterback in the NFL.
Everybody thinks he's the right hand, the next Jesus of football. Like, come on now. Then look at Joe Burrow.
Yeah. He's good, but think about it. I like a guy, the guy that I got after this guy, I like him in a playoff moment, in a kind of moment to win me the game. Derek Carr better in that kind of situation. Derek Carr got that dog in him. He got that dog in him.
I think he has the most comeback wins over an extended period of time. If you get him into the OT or in the fourth, it's lights out and it's fun in Las Vegas, man. They had some big games over
they beat the Ravens.
The course of the
they
last
beat a lot of
years.
Good teams last year.
Yes.
Except for the Bears.
Rodgers.
They didn't beat Justin Fields.
Hey, we got us one. But that was when all that shit hit the fan with my man's. But yeah, Derek Carr is definitely top 10.
Derek Carr is 10. Year. And I don't think a lot of people had him on their list. But that's another guy that needs to deserve more recognition, especially last year when he did. Waller banged up, all the dysfunction. He was a great leader for that team, did what he needs to, got him to the playoffs. Yeah. But that's our top 10. So now let's keep on that conversation about quarterbacks. Now, year 2, year 3 for some of these quarterbacks, who's under more pressure for next season? Like, who needs to have a good year? Or they're done, Trey Lance or Justin Fields?
Man, that's a good question. And that's a quarterback we haven't even said a word about with Jimmy Garoppolo. It seems really like quiet. If they keep him, I mean, shit, he ain't gonna have no pressure. They're gonna just play Garoppolo until he get hurt, and then if he plays well, he'll just take it from there. But if he shits the bed, then no pressure. Garoppolo's going to continue to play, and you're going to continue to learn, or we made a mistake and we got to trade you. So He doesn't have no pressure. Whereas Justin Fields, he's the starter. There's no competition. There's no other quarterback here that's going to take his job. The keys are in his hand. And to be honest with you, he don't have no weapons. So you know how that goes. I mean, it's going to be bad. Hopefully we have some kind of clever scheme where we're heavy run and just, not too many. He don't put him in too many situations to make mistakes because we don't have no weapons.
Moody is a great receiver, but I think just that drop off to that number 2, number 3, number even 4, even you can't really
he's not starting on a lot of teams as they number 1. So
no.
I don't think he's a true number 1. So for the simple fact that there's a drop off between 1 and 2, we're in trouble.
Yeah. And we got people, our second best receivers doing donuts and shit and getting arrested. But I think he's a good pickup. I think he'll have a good year too this year. I'm hoping for the Bayless Jones from Tennessee to have a good year.
But his film was really nice. I like his play. And he's a return guy, so hopefully we can get some cheap points.
I think Justin Fields too is the right answer because he's a starter looking in, and a lot of people have said, Ryan Poles, Eberflus, they don't believe in Justin Fields. That's why they're not putting a rod around him. Possibly, if the Bears say Justin Fields doesn't do well this year, you get a good draft pick next year. Who says they don't take Bryce Young? Who says they don't do some stupid shit like that? Who knows?
Man, I mean, shoot. I mean, every player, you've got to be evaluated year over year. So what have you done for me league? So if we feel like we put you in the best position to succeed and you do not, we have to reevaluate the position. If we could get more for less, then we're going to do that. That's the business of the game. And in a market like Chicago and the negativity, I mean, Justin Fields went from like the second best quarterback in the draft to dropped all the way till we got him. So there was there's I'm sure that, and that's in Justin's head too. Like they like every other black quarterback, it's all the mechanics issues. There's always something wrong with their throwing form. But every time I see them, they ball out, they win. So
they doing their thing.
So hopefully we got our guy and the rest is history. So I don't want to have this conversation until it's necessary, if I'm being honest. My hopes are too high. Right.
We had Mike Adu come on too and just bless us with information that Justin Fields is going to shock the world, essentially. That's what I got from that.
Exactly.
But now, so we talked about, some teams that are going to have a chance to succeed next year. So let's see who your playoff teams for next year are. Starting the AFC. Who you got? 7 teams.
Let's work our way.
No order at all. 7 teams.
Oh, I'm going in order. I'll take number 1. I'm taking the Bills, of course.
Okay.
Number 2, I think Cincinnati makes it again. Although I will say this. I don't have them coming back. It's too hard to lose in the Super Bowl and try to come back. You look at the issues they've had on the offensive line, that's unsustainable. If that continues next year, Joe Burrow will be hurt, and then their season's over. So they have to get that fixed. If they don't, they're not in the playoffs. So I'll leave them out for right now. But number 2, I'll definitely take the Ravens. I think Lamar betting on himself. I got Lamar betting on himself and hitting the jackpot for to get that Deshaun money after this year or whatever.
Prove it. Yeah, prove it, deal.
I hope he doesn't do that, though, in all honesty, because first of all, he runs the damn ball more than any quarterback.
He need a Deebo
in the NFL combined.
Like he was trying to get it. Yeah.
So it's too risky. I don't think he should do that. But if he's healthy, number 2. Number 3. Coming out of the AFC, that's a tough one. I got, of course, Kansas City. Even though that's my hot take for them not to make the playoffs.
So
I think Kansas City. Right. So if I'm going to save Kansas City, matter of fact, take them out. So I'm I'm going the Chargers. I'm going the Broncos. I'm going the Raiders. All three of them teams are making the playoffs next year. You look at everything they've added and everything Kansas City lost. It's going to be hard for them to be able to be unstoppable. Because Tyreek Hill, Mahomes and the Tyreek Hill match was a cheat code because Mahomes can run around as long as he can, and he could throw that bitch at any angle he's at as far as he wants. And Tyreek Hill can run. You can't outthrow him, and he can run under anything. So, and he's going to be open after an extended period of time on the field. So, without that, they're out of the playoffs.
It's not a ridiculous take because looking at how competitive the AFC, even if they don't win their division, there's still a lot of teams that can make the playoffs in that wild card spot. Even Miami, looking at some of the moves they made, possibly.
No, two will be out 5 to 8 games, and they'll be in the hunt till the very end, but they're not going to make it same as every year. Okay. Or they could have a genius on their hands.
Daniel,
light-skinned assassin. He coming from a hell of a culture, a hell of a scheme. They could do something. I like the personnel that Miami has based on the coaching tree that he's leaving. I think that's a good scheme, and I think they're gonna have success. So
especially
they're gonna be in the fight at the very end. But at the end of the year, it's always gonna be dependent on Tua's health.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Who you got winning the AFC South though?
AFC South. I
think
got
Titans or Colts? Colts?
I think the Colts win. I mean, they were on a tear towards the end of the year. They were really inconsistent before that, but once JT got hot, it was like it was no stopping him. He was in the race for the MVP. So I think they take that next step. I think Tennessee losing your boy. I mean, damn, that receiver, that boy is different. He is really different. So
and he went to Philly, so that's going to be trouble for the NFC.
Yes, but you can already add them to my list on that side. But
okay, I will. Now,
but I got the Colts coming out.
So it's not a bad pick, but now my AFC teams, I'll go in order. Buffalo, number 1, obviously. I think Von Miller, O.J. Howard, they made some great moves. I think their draft was very underrated. It picked up a lot of good, talented players. The receiver from Boise State, and then Cook from the Vikings, his brother.
Oh, okay.
Georgia.
That's a great pick.
Great third down back,
He might start. He might get a lot of reps there. He might want to get the starting gig too. So be on the lookout for that.
Not a bad prediction. But then number 2 got Baltimore. Even with trading Hollywood Brown away, they still made some good with Kyle Hamilton. I think he's gonna be a good safety for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And they picked up the guy from the Saints. He's most famous for missing that tackle on Minnesota Miracle, but he's still a really good safety when you come down to it. And that's coming back next year fully healthy. You got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. They don't really need receiver. They don't need to throw the ball. They're just going to be the deadliest rushing attack in the NFL. So I think that works for them. Number 3, I don't have the Chiefs, or I have the Chargers winning that division. So I got them number 3. And then number 4, Colts winning their AFC South division. Tennessee, if they don't win the division, they're not making the playoffs. I think it's too tough with that wild card competition, other teams. And I'm praying for Ryan Tannehill's downfall. I hope he has a bad year next year. Malik Willis can get in. I want him to succeed. The more black quarterbacks in the NFL, the better, man. Especially if he ain't won.
That's not what it's about, bro.
Not just my fault for making
Malik Willis. I hope he wins the job too. Because Tannehill ain't the guy. And they're gonna see that this year with Brown getting traded. I can't believe they did that. I mean, him and Derrick Henry were their identity on offense, not Ryan Tannehill. So you gotta pay a receiver like that.
Gotta pay him.
Gotta pay him. So
yards after the catch, Mons take the ball, go 90 with the shit. But the next team I got for the wild card, these are my 3 wild card teams. I got the Bengals making the wild card. I think offensively, it's not going to be as easy as it was for them last year. They went on a tear, a team coming out of nowhere. Now teams in the league can prepare for them, look better for them. It won't be a surprise anymore. But I think they got better than they were last year, though. Re-signed other guys on defense, offensive line. They got some good pieces. But at AFC North, it's gonna be a fight. Even Pittsburgh is gonna give them some run.
Yes, Pittsburgh. People sleeping on Pittsburgh. They will be in it to the very end. And
a 9-8 kind of team, I think. Yeah.
People sleeping on Mitchell Trubisky. You insulate him in a good system, he can win. He's not gonna lose. But the problem was that offensive line was horrid. Which is why they did all that quick pass shit all year. And the year before. Right, but it was terrible. So if Mitch ain't got a whole line, it's gonna be sad. So
now for my last 2 teams of the wild card, I got the Chiefs. I got them making the playoffs because Patrick Mahomes, his greatness is Andy Reid is one of the best coaches in the NFL. So I think they find a way to get in there, at least if it's not winning their division. Last team, I got the Broncos, Russell Wilson, and that offense. So unfortunately, we don't have the Raiders making the playoffs, even though I think McDaniel, who's Josh McDaniels as a coach, I don't really trust him.
It's the second year around, bro. They said he was a hell of a coach in Denver. He got fired for doing dumb shit. So
was he the one that was coaching when Tebow was there?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Pittsburgh?
Yes, they was saying they knew exactly what teams were doing the day before because of his experience in New England. So I got high hopes for the Raiders. That's why I'm saying I can't put the Chiefs in there because I feel like they didn't get better. I cannot picture their offense performing at a high level.
Yeah, you did have the Raiders make the playoffs then.
Unless somebody fills that void, and they got speedy guys that can, but I don't know if they can on the level of Tariq's. You know, he's one of the unique talents that are the fastest in the league, but can catch the ball as good as any receiver in the league. So you rarely see that type of combination. It's usually guys who just struggle high pointing the ball or making contested shots, or catches, but can run past everybody. So you give them jets and sweeps and all that other shit. And misdirection.
This AFC is going to be exciting, but let's transfer over to the NFC now. So let's see your NFC teams in the playoffs.
Ooh, let's go by division. I'll start with the East. I got the Eagles coming. I don't think Dallas didn't make any moves. They're similar to the Chiefs. They didn't make any moves, and they didn't even retain. They didn't even retain their top talent, so it didn't make sense at all. They are not making the playoffs. I definitely got Tom getting in there some way, somehow. Okay. Outside of that, from that division, I don't see anybody getting in. Maybe the Saints.
Not even the Saints? I see them getting in the wild card at least.
Maybe. I'll table that. We'll see. Moves. We'll see how. I mean, but is famous Jameis the guy? Let's get him over the hump.
He'll get him in the playoffs, I think. But then Dennis Allen is the coach now, not Sean Payton. So that could change things.
So there's a lot of things still in the air. So I don't have them making the playoffs. Especially when you look at the NFC North, we got one team going, and that's going to be Green Bay. They'll probably win, 13 games like they did last year. Aaron will be top 2 in MVP. Top 2 in MVP voting. They'll probably sweep the division except for Minnesota. They'll probably beat them once, and Minnesota will beat them once. So they're probably going to be the number 1 seed. The Niners will be back, and I think obviously the defending Super Bowl champs will be back. They're just retooling, and I think they're going to get Odell back. So
who's your 2 wild card teams then? You got 2 more.
2 wild cards?
Yeah, I think he got
So
two
either
nuts.
the Rams or the
The Niners.
Niners will be one, but
Yeah.
two lefts. What division did I miss?
No, you covered each division. You said the Saints weren't gonna make it, so got two teams left. And Baker, Carolina, they get in?
Hell no.
They said he gonna save Matt Rule's job.
Man, no. There's a reason why they was all in on Deshaun and traded a fifth round pick for Baker. There's levels to this. So I don't have them making it. Shoot, the Washington Commanders though.
Carson Wentz,
No,
maybe.
hell
It's just
no,
the
hell
NFC.
no.
There's like it's the drop off.
So
The four
bad.
teams.
It's so
Yeah.
bad.
It's
Hey,
those
but
four
all them games
contenders.
be entertaining though. I will say
Yeah,
that. The East
they
games
will.
are entertaining. We got to see. Can Arizona make that jump? Can they connect the dots? What's the last thing? Kyler, they kissed and made up, right? They just ain't got a
Yeah.
contract done.
Yeah, he's showing up to camp and all that stuff. So, I think he's just got to give a nod. Probably Cowboys will probably be in it. A lot of people have Minnesota making the playoffs too.
I was gonna say Minnesota or Arizona.
Can't go wrong with those two. But I got two better for you for the wild card. Chicago Bears, number 7. I already did a video about this, so I'm sticking to
Are
the
you
video.
being serious though? Do you honestly?
Yes. I broke down their schedule. If you haven't seen the video yet, go watch it. 10-7. I already blueprinted it out.
I seen their schedule and I had it as like 5-12.
5. So you probably have the Jets beating us then.
Yeah,
you probably have us losing some of
that's
those
going to be a
games.
toss-up. We are going to.
To lose to the Jets?
We're going to lose the games we should win, at least once. Just the NFL. Come on
You
now.
probably have Detroit probably beating us once, at least, because Detroit got better. But I don't know, man.
I don't think we could beat Detroit.
I don't know if that's an automatic.
It's going to be a death
anymore.
match.
Yeah,
it's going to be an OT, but it might end in a tie.
Yeah.
Bro, we're that bad. The roster is just boom.
I have hopes, and I made the video already. So, like I said, I got the Bears, the 7th seed. I think they squeak in now because there's still a lot of talent on this team. Defensively, they still got really good talent. Offensively, Justin Fields, we'll see what he does this year. I like our running back duo, Montgomery, Herbert. We could do some things with that rushing attack. But the number 6 team I got making the playoffs to succeed, I think I have the Saints. So I'm confident in that one because I think Jarvis Landry coming in to New Orleans. Odell Beckham could go sign with the Saints too. That Michael Thomas coming back
to Louisiana.
This Saints team is going to be a deadly team to watch out for.
I'll give you that. I'll put the Saints in there before Arizona, or the Vikings, really. But
I think they can do something.
Vikings are fun to watch.
It's the only question marks, their coach and stuff. But if they can stay healthy, they got one of the best D-lines in the NFL too. Cameron Jordan.
Absolutely. Secondaries too.
Secondary is nice. And then looking at the 5th team, I think the 49ers. Trey Lance, I would give him the not winning the division, but still some question marks with Trey Lance. I think that was one of my hot takes. Maybe not. I got to look at the footage. But
what is it? What's your hot take? Trey Lance taking them to the playoffs?
They're going to be in the playoffs, but I was thinking if I had said that the 49ers were going to win the division or not, I might have. But still question marks about that. It's a questionable take. I was probably saying some shit. But
questionable.
Number 4, I think it's got to be the Eagles. I think they win their division, but I don't think they have an amazing record. I think they go 11-6, which is not bad, but one more win from the Bears. But number 3 got the number 3 got the, I'm looking at it backwards, got the Bucks. I think they digressed a little with their roster. They lost Robert Gronkowski is definitely retired now, so I think tight end position they're really thin in. Some of the positions they excelled in, they're not as good anymore. They lost a lot of talent on the defensive line, so I think they lose a step, but they're still competitive and a contender. The Rams, number 2, Packers 1. Packers regular season champs.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I think the Bucs are getting older. And shoot, they're not gonna. Is that your ranking?
Yeah, I got
You
that in
got the
order from
Bucs
the
as the
season.
3rd pick. I think the Bucs might. They're gonna win the division, so they'll be in that fourth slot, in my opinion, just because the division is sus.
So we're sold on the Cowboys not making the playoffs, then, right?
Hell yeah.
Commanders might even have a better record than them too. Looking at it's going to be a bad year for the Cowboys, I think, with having Mike McCarthy struggle like he did last year. I think this year he gets canned.
Well, if Dak plays at a high level the whole year, and Micah Parsons is the next Aaron Donald, they could sneak in.
Possibly, it's possible, but I think now let's transition to some NBA talk to finish the show. So we talked about in the last hot take, Philly, the moves they made. You said they'll be a top 3 contender now. Some moves they made. Do you think there's a chance that Embiid and Harden, with their career together as they continue their years in Philly, will they ever win a ring?
I think they might. They might soon. I mean, you look at James Harden; he restructured his deal to clear up some cap. They go get a shooter, big name shooter.
Joe Harris, some guys that are on the market.
They pick up somebody that'll knock it down, and then they're all guns is blazing. I think Harden's tired of hearing the negative talk. Now, will he stay out the clubs and be a little baby groupie?
It don't look like it. They was just at the club with PJ Tucker and them. Embiid, there was with Meek Mill.
Yeah, that was at the
Ruin party.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody tell you this was a white party. But I like some of the moves Philly has made, but I've seen a trade that they can make that could take them to the next level. If Utah does end up trying to break it up, it's seeing Tobias for Bojan, the number 44, the shooter, white man. He'll bucket 18 a game, and Clarkson. You make that trade, that adds some shooting.
Hell yeah, you good to go. I mean, I do like Tobias. If he can play at a high level, I think you can't not lose with him. Which really don't mean nothing, but he's a good player. So if he could play at a high level consistently, which has always been the question mark for him, you got something. Now Doc got to be that coach that everybody hyped him up to be and bring that out of his players. You got a bunch of boo-boo heads over there and Embiid all over the ground and stuff. So his big ass stay on the ground. Harden in the clubs with Baby and them, throwing obscene amounts of money. And Tobias, he'll drop 30 and drop 1 the next night.
But I am excited for Tyrese Maxey and what his further development is.
Yes.
He's a really good piece.
Yes,
really
we forgot about him. Absolutely.
But now, hot take of the week, what I'm going to say this week is KD doesn't get traded. We talked about it a little, but I don't think him and Kyrie stay in Brooklyn, finish their contracts out. But I think Kyrie leaves the next year. But I think they go to the Eastern Conference Finals this season. With the roster construction, they keep Seth Curry, they keep Joe Harris. If they keep those guys, those shooters around Ben Simmons, we see an all-star version of Ben Simmons too, and I think Brooklyn will make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Absolutely.
But who will they play? That's a question.
Big if, though.
Yeah. A lot of things
they're going to see
for
Celtics or Milwaukee. I think a healthy Milwaukee wins it all.
Even with
last year
going to the Celtics, Malcolm Brogdon on the Celtics now.
Yes, I mean Milwaukee made a hell of a pickup too. Don't sleep
Joe
on
Ingles.
that. Right. So Joe Ingles healthy, I think is a 1-for-1. And you got to remember, Middleton did not play and it went 7. They went down to the wire. So You don't think Middleton tips the scales in their favor, and you add ankles? So I think sky is the limit. He's a guy you can just sub Middleton in and out for, and he's gonna play that same role, get you a bucket. While Giannis is
Had
wreaking
some great
havoc.
years in Utah too.
So, but I will say the Celtics are just as good. But the Nets have the X factor with the amount of skill they have at each position and the length. KD and Big Ben, come on now.
Dude, and think about Miami too. If they end up trying to get Donovan Mitchell, they give up on KD, they go ahead and make that move for Donovan Mitchell because they're trying to get another star. They're done with Kyle Lowry. They might ship his thick ass somewhere else.
Get Kyle Lowry, big booty ass out of that.
No, I think going to the Eastern Conference, we can talk about it all day, but Eastern Conference Finals, I got Brooklyn, seeing Milwaukee or Boston. But that's all we got for the show today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. As always, check out the Apple Podcast. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out. Give us 5-star rating. Check us out on YouTube. Videos, we've been uploading every day, damn near. Videos, Eagles saying the Eagles going to make the playoffs. Record prediction for them. Big Brother review. A Thor review. We've been putting in the grind, best believe. So check out those if you haven't. And the Micah Do interview. See some funny stories. There's some background noise. Sorry about that in advance, but we're still working on the technical difficulties. The technical team's working with us overnight.
But put it in a case, and we waiting for them to get to it. It's in their queue.
Yeah, somebody will get to it. You know, holidays, 4th of July, just a lot of shit. But that's all we got for you. Thank you for watching. Like I said, as always, peace.